So, what is art really for? Is it just something pretty to hang on a wall, a nice decoration? Well, for a fascinating group of 20th century thinkers, the answer was a huge no. For them, art wasn't some kind of luxury. It was a fundamental act of rebellion against a universe that they saw as totally meaningless. Today, we're diving into existentialist aesthetics, a philosophy that sees every great work of art as a powerful answer to a core human problem. All right, let's jump right in with what is maybe the most famous and honestly startling idea in all of existentialism. When Jean-Paul Sartre said, "We are condemned to be free," he wasn't celebrating. Not at all. He meant it like a life sentence. It's that terrifying feeling when you realize there's no script for your life, no divine plan, no built-in human nature to tell you what to do. You are completely and terrifyingly responsible for creating who you are.
And to really get their take on art, you first have to understand what they meant by existence. I mean, think about a rock. A rock just is. It has a fixed essence. It's a rock. But for us humans, they argued, it's the complete opposite. We get thrown into the world first, and only then, through the choices we make and the things we do we define who we are. Our existence comes before our essence. And this isn't something you can just sit back and watch. It's a constant, active project of building yourself.
So here's our game plan. We'll start with that dizzying, terrifying freedom. Then we'll see how art becomes a way to make sense of the world. After that, we'll look at its moral purpose, how they actually ranked the arts based on that purpose. And finally, we'll ask the big question: why does any of this still matter today? Okay, so let's dig into that core problem. After the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche famously declared that God is dead, a lot of existentialists started from a new, stark reality. All the traditional sources of meaning, religion, a cosmic plan, a universal good and evil, they were gone. We were on our own. And what that means is that we don't have a built-in purpose. We're just here, thrown into the world, as they like to say, and we are forced to invent our own values, completely from scratch. Every single choice you make isn't just a choice for you, it's a choice that helps define what it even means to be human. The weight of that responsibility, it's just immense. So, how does all this philosophy lead to art? Well, think about it. If there's no meaning or order just sitting out there in the world, then someone has to create it. And for the existentialists, that someone is us. And art becomes the ultimate tool for getting that job done. Sartre actually wrote a whole novel about this feeling, and he called it nausea. It's this deep philosophical sickness you get when you're suddenly confronted with the raw, meaningless existence of an object, like a tree root or a random pebble. It's the world without a human story attached to it. And that reality, when you truly face it, is just overwhelming, absurd, and deeply nauseating. But right here is where we find their solution. We are revealers. We don't invent the stars or the river, sure, but just by being here, we create the landscape. We're the ones who connect them. Our consciousness is basically like a spotlight that we shine into the chaotic darkness of reality, and just by perceiving it, we organize it and give it meaning. And this is what makes art so incredibly powerful. It's the most deliberate, focused kind of meaning-making there is. The artist stares right into that chaotic, messy reality, and instead of backing down, they capture it. They impose a sense of unity, they create connections, and they reveal a structured, humanized version of the world. They literally create a cosmos out of chaos. But for the existentialists, just creating order isn't quite enough. Art has a job to do. This whole act of revealing the world isn't just some neutral decorative thing. It comes packed with a profound ethical responsibility. And this brings us to a huge debate in their whole theory of art. They completely rejected the idea of art for art's sake. The belief that art is just about itself, about being formally beautiful. No way. For them, art had to be engaged. It had to be an act of communication, a bridge from the artist's freedom directly to the audience's freedom. So a work of art isn't just something you're supposed to look at and admire passively. It is an appeal. It's a call to action. The artist shows you a vision of the world and is basically asking, okay, you've seen this now, so what are you going to do about it? How are you going to use your own freedom? It's designed to shake you out of your comfort zone.
Now, this whole philosophy of engagement and responsibility led them to a really fascinating and, you could say, pretty controversial conclusion. Not all art is created equal. They actually came up with a clear hierarchy of the arts, ranking them based on which form could best show and explore human freedom in real, concrete situations.
And here you can see how they ranked everything. Right at the top, you've got theater and the novel. And why is that? Well, because language is the absolute best tool for showing a situation, a person at a crossroads forced to make a choice. It's the art of freedom in action. Painting and music, they're a bit lower because their meaning is more ambiguous, trapped, as they put it, in the physical paint or sound. And poetry? They were often suspicious of poetry, seeing it as treating words like pretty objects instead of as tools to actually change the world. Okay, so why should we care about all these ideas from the middle of the 20th century? Because the huge questions they were wrestling with about meaning, about responsibility, about the entire purpose of art are arguably more relevant right now than ever before. So, to wrap it all up, the existentialists give us this really powerful three-part way of looking at art. First, art is an act of freedom against chaos. Second, it's an act of revelation, showing us the world through a uniquely human lens. And third, and maybe most importantly, it is an act of responsibility, a call from one free person to another. What's really amazing is that while these ideas might have seemed a little old-fashioned for a while, especially during periods of pure abstract art, they have come roaring back into relevance. I mean, in a time when we are constantly debating the artist's role in society and the power of art to make social and political statements, the existentialists suddenly sound less like historical figures and a lot more like our own contemporaries. And that really leaves us with a final thought to take away. The existentialists believed the artist's job was to cut through all the illusions and reveal something true about the human condition. So in our world, a world of deep fakes and rampant disinformation, where truth itself feels like it's constantly under attack, what is the artist's role now? Maybe that existential rebellion, that fight to reveal a truly human world, has never been more important.